Reports have surfaced claiming that Bruce Lee's tomb has been opened after 51 years. But is it true? Some people even think the FBI was involved. Allegedly, his final resting place has been disturbed, sparking speculation and renewed intrigue. But with no official confirmation, the mystery only deepens. Why would his tomb be opened after so many years? Could it be for restoration, investigation, or something more unexpected? Bruce Lee wasn't just a martial artist. He was a revolutionary figure who transformed cinema, redefined martial arts, and left an everlasting impact on global culture. His sudden death at just 32 remains one of the most controversial in Hollywood history, surrounded by endless theories and speculation. Now, decades later, these new allegations have reignited public interest. What really happened? What does this mean for his legacy? Join us as we explore the truth behind the claims, the global reactions, and the ongoing fascination with Bruce Lee's life and death. Bruce Lee's story begins long before he became a martial arts legend. Born on November 27, 1940, in San Francisco's Chinatown, he was given the name Lee Jun Fan, meaning return again, a prophecy of sorts, as his parents soon moved back to British Hong Kong. Raised in a bustling city filled with both opportunity and danger, Bruce was exposed to the world of performance and fighting at a young age. His father, a Cantonese opera star, introduced him to the film industry early, making Bruce no stranger to the camera. But beyond the glitz of the entertainment world, the streets of Hong Kong were rough, and Bruce had to learn how to defend himself. He took up martial arts, studying Wing Chun under the legendary Grandmaster Ip Man. Wing Chun taught him discipline, control, and strategy. But Bruce was never content with just one style. He experimented with other forms, incorporating Tai Chi from his father and frequently engaging in street fights that sharpened his reflexes and instincts. Bruce's rebellious nature and growing reputation as a fighter eventually led his parents to make a tough decision. At 18, they sent him to the United States to build a better future, fearing that his brawls would land him in serious trouble. Arriving in Seattle with little more than determination and ambition, Bruce enrolled at the University of Washington, where he studied philosophy. But he didn't just focus on academics. He began teaching martial arts to make a living, blending what he had learned in Hong Kong with his own unique ideas about movement and combat. His first martial arts school was small, operated out of parking lots and backyards, but word of his skill spread fast. His fluid, explosive fighting style was unlike anything most Americans had ever seen. Soon, he opened a second school in Oakland, California, where he challenged martial arts norms by teaching non-Chinese students, a controversial move at the time. His demonstration at the Long Beach International Karate Championships in 1964 further solidified his reputation as he amazed crowds with his lightning-fast strikes and the now famous one-inch punch. Hollywood took notice. Bruce landed the role of Kato in The Green Hornet, showcasing his speed and agility to American audiences. But despite his undeniable talent, he faced a harsh reality. Hollywood wasn't ready to make an Asian man a leading star. He was sidelined, given secondary roles, and told that American audiences wouldn't accept an Asian hero. Frustrated but undeterred, Bruce took matters into his own hands. In 1971, he returned to Hong Kong, only to discover that The Green Hornet had become a sensation there. He was a star, just not in the place he had expected. Seizing the opportunity, he took on his first leading role in The Big Boss, a film that shattered box office records in Asia. The following year, Fist of Fury elevated him even further, cementing his image as an unstoppable martial artist and a symbol of resistance. Determined to take full creative control, Bruce wrote, directed, and starred in Way of the Dragon, where he famously faced off against Chuck Norris in the Coliseum. His films weren't just about action. They carried themes of perseverance, self-discipline, and cultural pride, resonating deeply with audiences worldwide. Hollywood could no longer ignore him. Warner Brothers approached Bruce for what would become his most iconic project, Enter the Dragon. A Hollywood-Hong Kong co-production, it was designed to introduce Bruce Lee to the global stage. Tragically, Bruce never lived to see the film's impact. He passed away just weeks before its release, at only 32 years old. But his legacy? It exploded. Enter the Dragon became a worldwide phenomenon, sparking a martial arts craze that forever changed action films. Bruce Lee wasn't just a star, he was a movement. He redefined how martial arts were perceived, paved the way for Asian actors in Hollywood, and proved that skill, philosophy, and charisma could break through any barrier. From a Hong Kong street fighter to a global legend, Bruce Lee's rise to fame was nothing short of extraordinary. But even after his passing, his influence only grew stronger, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire martial artists, filmmakers, and dreamers around the world. Bruce Lee's death remains one of the greatest mysteries in Hollywood history. A man at the peak of his physical abilities, a global superstar whose body seemed invincible, gone at just 32 years old. But what really happened in his final moments? Was it a medical tragedy, a freak accident, or something far more sinister? The first sign that something was wrong came on May 10, 1973. Bruce was at Golden Harvest Studios working on the post-production of Enter the Dragon. In the middle of an automated dialogue replacement session, he suddenly collapsed. He was rushed to the hospital, where doctors discovered he had cerebral edema, swelling of the brain. They were able to bring the swelling down with medication, but no one knew why it had happened in the first place. Bruce was discharged, and life carried on as usual. But this would not be the last time he would suffer from the condition. Fast forward to July 20th, 1973. Bruce was in Hong Kong preparing for his next film, Game of Death. That afternoon, he met with film producer Raymond Chow at his home to discuss the project. The meeting lasted for hours, filled with excitement and creative energy. Later in the day, they drove to the apartment of actress Betty Ting Pei, a close friend and rumored lover. There, Bruce and Chow went over the script, finalizing ideas for the film. At some point in the evening, Bruce complained of a headache. Betty Ting Pei gave him a painkiller, Aquagesic, a combination of aspirin and a tranquilizer. He took the pill and decided to lie down for a nap. But hours later, when it was time for dinner, Bruce never showed up. Raymond Chow, concerned by Bruce's absence, returned to Betty's apartment. When he arrived, he found Bruce unresponsive, unable to wake up. Panicked, a doctor was called, spending over 10 minutes trying to revive him before realizing the situation was dire. Bruce was rushed to Queen Elizabeth Hospital, but by the time he arrived, it was too late. Bruce Lee was pronounced dead. The official cause? Cerebral edema. His brain had swollen by 12.5%, a fatal increase. But the real question remained: what caused it? According to the autopsy, Bruce had suffered an allergic reaction to the tranquilizer in the Aquagesic. But that explanation never sat well with the public. How could a man in peak physical condition die from a simple painkiller he had taken before? Rumors spread like wildfire. Some believed he had been poisoned, targeted by those who didn't want him to succeed. Others claimed that the triads, the infamous Hong Kong criminal syndicates, had a hand in his death. Then there was the theory of the Lee family curse, a dark shadow that seemed to loom over the entire family. The legend of the curse grew stronger after Bruce's son, Brandon Lee, also met a tragic and mysterious end. In 1993, while filming The Crow, Brandon was shot on set during a stunt that should have been completely safe. The gun, meant to fire blanks, had a live round lodged in its chamber. It struck Brandon in the abdomen, fatally wounding him. Just like his father, he died far too young, at the age of 28. 2 generations of Lees, both dead under circumstances that left more questions than answers. Coincidence? Or something more? To this day, conspiracy theories continue to swirl around Bruce Lee's death. Was it truly a medical tragedy? Or was there something darker at play? Could it have been foul play, a supernatural force, or even the high price of fame? One thing is certain: Bruce Lee's passing was not just the loss of a man, but the loss of a legend. And as the mystery endures, so does his legacy. Recent reports have sparked intrigue and speculation, claims that Bruce Lee's grave has been at the center of renewed attention. While no official confirmation has been made, questions continue to circulate. Is this part of a quiet investigation, a preservation effort, or something more mysterious? Bruce Lee's grave, located in Seattle's Lakeview Cemetery, has long been more than just a burial site. It has become a place of pilgrimage, drawing visitors from every corner of the world. Fans, martial artists, and admirers visit daily, leaving behind offerings, flowers, notes, martial arts belts, and personal messages of gratitude. Some come alone, seeking a quiet moment of reflection, while others travel in groups, paying homage to the man who redefined martial arts and action cinema. Over the years, Bruce Lee's gravesite has been a place of deep respect, but it has also been the subject of investigation and controversy. Theories surrounding his passing never fully faded, and as time passed, new discussions have emerged. Some believe his grave may hold answers to unresolved questions about his death. Others suggest that renewed interest is simply a testament to his lasting legacy. Beyond the site itself, Bruce Lee's influence is preserved in museums and exhibits dedicated to his life and philosophy. The Wing Luk Museum of the Asian Pacific American Experience has showcased rare personal items, including handwritten notes, training equipment, and even fan tributes left at his grave. Visitors often leave medals, drawings, and heartfelt letters, all signs that Bruce Lee's spirit continues to inspire people across generations. Even in the digital age, the fascination with Bruce Lee's gravesite has extended into online spaces. Photographs of his memorial are being sold, with titles like 50 Years After Bruce Lee's Death and Seattle's Bruce Lee Landmark appearing on commercial platforms. His name alone still carries immense value, proving that even in death, Bruce Lee remains one of the most revered figures in martial arts history. With so much renewed focus on his grave, many are left wondering, why now? Is there more to uncover? Or is this simply the latest wave of admiration for a legend whose impact has never faded? Whatever the reason, Bruce Lee's legacy remains as powerful today as it was when he first stepped onto the world stage, and his influence will continue to shape martial arts, cinema, and philosophy for generations to come. Bruce Lee wasn't just a martial artist, he was a force of nature. His speed, power, and precision were unlike anything the world had ever seen. His physical abilities pushed the boundaries of human potential, making him seem almost superhuman. From his legendary one-inch punch to his mind-blowing workout routines, Bruce Lee's strength was both a product of relentless training and a reflection of his deep understanding of movement and energy. One of his most famous feats was the one-inch punch, a move that defied logic. With almost no wind-up, Bruce could generate enough force to send an opponent flying backward. It wasn't just strength, It was the perfect combination of speed, technique, and explosive energy. He first demonstrated it to the public in the 1960s at martial arts exhibitions, shocking spectators and fighters alike. His ability to channel power in such a short distance came from years of mastering body mechanics, using his legs, core, and arms in perfect sync to transfer energy like a whip. Even today, fighters and scientists study the physics behind the one-inch punch, yet few have been able to replicate it. Bruce's core strength was another part of what made him exceptional. His workout routine was as intense as his fighting style. He developed a core exercise now known as the dragon flag, a move so difficult that only elite athletes can perform it. Lying on his back with only his shoulders touching a bench, Bruce would lift his entire body into the air, holding a perfectly rigid position. It wasn't just about strength, it was about total control. His core was so powerful that he could maintain this position effortlessly, inspiring modern fitness and calisthenics communities to incorporate his methods into extreme training regimens. His raw power was legendary. While most martial artists trained with standard heavy bags weighing around 50 kilograms, Bruce needed something much stronger. He frequently punched through bags weighing over 135 kilograms, tearing them apart with his strikes. His kicks could send them swinging across a room, an unimaginable feat for most fighters. His upper body strength was just as incredible. He could perform 1,500 push-ups in one session, 200 of them using only 2 fingers. He even mastered 1 thumb push-ups, proving that his training wasn't just about aesthetics, but about functional strength that translated into real combat power. But it wasn't just his strength that amazed people, it was his speed. Bruce Lee was so fast that cameras struggled to capture his movements. When he played Kato in The Green Hornet, his strikes were too quick for the film crew to record properly. On screen, it looked as if he was standing still while his opponents fell around him. The problem? The cameras of that time couldn't handle his movements, forcing directors to ask him to slow down, just so the action could be seen. Even when slowed, his strikes remained a blur. His quickness wasn't just for show, it was an essential part of his fighting philosophy. He believed in hitting first and hitting with precision, eliminating unnecessary movements and wasted energy. His philosophy of Jeet Kune Do, or the way of the intercepting fist, was built on this concept. It wasn't about brute force, it was about speed, efficiency, and control. Bruce Lee's physical feats remain unmatched, his training methods still studied by fighters and athletes across the world. He was more than just an actor. He was a living testament to human potential. His strength, speed, and power weren't just gifts. They were the result of relentless dedication, pushing the limits of what the body could achieve. Even decades after his passing, Bruce Lee's abilities remain legendary, a benchmark that few have ever come close to reaching. Bruce Lee wasn't just a martial artist, he was a philosopher, a visionary who believed that combat was more than just physical strength. He saw martial arts as an ever-evolving discipline, rejecting rigid traditions in favor of adaptability and personal expression. His philosophy of fighting would become known as Jeet Kune Do, a revolutionary approach that changed the world of combat forever. At the heart of Jeet Kune Do was one simple but profound idea: be like water. Bruce believed that a fighter should not be bound by fixed patterns or rigid techniques. Instead, they should be fluid, able to adapt to any situation. Water doesn't resist. It flows, reshapes, and overcomes obstacles. In combat, this meant being unpredictable, responding in real time, and never relying on a single method of attack. Bruce saw traditional martial arts as too structured, too restrictive. He sought to break free from these limitations and develop a style that allowed for complete flexibility. His approach to combat was unlike anything seen before. Rather than sticking to one martial art, he studied and absorbed techniques from various disciplines. Wing Chun formed the foundation of his skills, but he wasn't confined by it. He explored Western boxing, borrowing its footwork and head movement. He studied fencing, learning the importance of timing and distance control. He incorporated elements of judo and jujutsu, recognizing the value of grappling and joint locks. By blending all these styles, Bruce created something entirely new, a fighting system based on efficiency, practicality, and real-world application. In many ways, Bruce Lee was decades ahead of his time. His belief in cross-training laid the groundwork for what would later become mixed martial arts, or MMA. Long before the UFC popularized the idea of blending striking and grappling, Bruce had already developed a system that emphasized the importance of being well-rounded. He believed a fighter should be proficient in all ranges of combat, striking, clinching, and ground fighting, rather than relying on a single discipline. His approach to training influenced countless martial artists, from professional fighters to self-defense practitioners, shaping the evolution of modern combat sports. A core principle of Jeet Kune Do was the concept of interception. Bruce believed that the best defense was not to block or evade, but to attack at the exact moment the opponent committed to a strike. By cutting off an attack before it could fully develop, a fighter could neutralize their opponent before they even had a chance to land a blow. This idea was inspired by fencing, where skilled duelists would strike the moment their opponent made a move. Bruce applied this principle to hand-to-hand combat, making his fighting style incredibly fast and efficient. He also developed the 5 ways of attack, a strategic approach to fighting that included single direct attacks, combination strikes, feints, drawing the opponent in, and counterattacking. This framework allowed fighters to think beyond traditional techniques and adjust their attacks based on their opponent's movements. Bruce emphasized that combat wasn't just about throwing punches and kicks. It was about understanding timing, rhythm, and psychological manipulation. Despite his incredible skills, Bruce Lee never saw martial arts as just about fighting. To him, it was a way of life. He believed that martial arts should reflect personal growth, self-discipline, and constant evolution. He rejected the idea of following rigid traditions simply because they had been passed down for generations. Instead, he encouraged martial artists to question, experiment, and find what worked best for them. His famous quote captured this mindset perfectly. "Absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and add what is uniquely your own." Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do wasn't just a martial art. It was a philosophy that transcended fighting. It was about adapting, staying open-minded, and never becoming stagnant. His influence can be seen in every corner of modern martial arts, from the octagon to the silver screen. He changed the way fighters train, think, and approach combat. More than 50 years after his passing, his philosophy still resonates, proving that Bruce Lee was not just a martial artist. He was a pioneer who redefined what it meant to fight, both in the ring and in life. Bruce Lee wasn't just a martial artist, he was a cultural revolution. His impact stretched far beyond the dojo and film sets, shaping global perceptions of action cinema, martial arts, and even the representation of Asian men in Hollywood. Before Bruce, martial arts films were often overlooked, and Asian actors were rarely given lead roles. But his presence on screen changed everything. He didn't just introduce martial arts to mainstream audiences, he made it a global phenomenon. Before Bruce Lee, action films in Hollywood followed a predictable formula. Big, bulky men throwing slow punches in choreographed brawls. Fight scenes lacked realism, and martial arts were often portrayed as mystical, exaggerated, or ineffective. But Bruce changed the game. His films, from The Big Boss to Enter the Dragon, showcased fight choreography unlike anything the West had seen before. Fluid, fast, and brutally efficient. He brought a level of authenticity to action cinema, inspiring generations of filmmakers and actors. Without Bruce Lee, there would be no Jackie Chan, no Jet Li, and no John Wick-style action sequences. His influence paved the way for a new era of fight choreography, blending precision, speed, and storytelling into every move. Beyond cinema, Bruce Lee shattered racial barriers. Before he arrived, Hollywood often depicted Asian men as weak, passive, or comic relief. They were side characters, never the hero. But Bruce changed that. He was strong, confident, and unapologetically powerful. He didn't beg for acceptance, he demanded it. His on-screen presence redefined Asian masculinity, showing the world that an Asian actor could be the leading man, the action hero, and the symbol of strength. This impact wasn't just limited to Hollywood, it resonated worldwide. Bruce Lee became an icon in Black, Latino, and Asian communities across the globe. In the US, he became a symbol of empowerment, inspiring people from all backgrounds to embrace martial arts and self-discipline. His influence on hip-hop culture, from artists like the Wu-Tang Clan to athletes who adopted his philosophy, is undeniable. He wasn't just a martial artist, he was a movement. His impact on combat sports was just as profound. Legendary boxer Sugar Ray Leonard once said he studied Bruce Lee's movements to improve his footwork. Manny Pacquiao credited Bruce Lee as one of his inspirations, adopting a similar approach to speed and precision in boxing. Even UFC stars like Conor McGregor have openly expressed admiration for Lee, with McGregor calling him a master of movement and studying his fight philosophy. Fighters across disciplines, from boxing to MMA, have integrated elements of Bruce Lee's training into their own, proving that his influence extends far beyond the silver screen. But perhaps Bruce Lee's greatest legacy is how he made martial arts a worldwide obsession. Before him, Kung Fu was an obscure practice, known mainly within Chinese communities. After him, martial arts schools exploded across the world. Karate, Taekwondo, and Kung Fu became household names. His movies inspired countless people to take up martial arts, not just for self-defense, but as a way of life. His philosophy of constant self-improvement, discipline, and adaptability became guiding principles for athletes, entrepreneurs, and anyone striving for greatness. Today, decades after his passing, Bruce Lee remains one of the most recognized and celebrated figures in the world. Statues of him stand in Hong Kong, Bosnia, and even Los Angeles. His books on martial arts and philosophy continue to sell millions of copies. His teachings are studied by scholars, fighters, and fans alike. Bruce Lee was more than a man. He was a force of nature. His influence spans generations, proving that true legends never fade. From revolutionizing action films to breaking stereotypes and inspiring the world to move, think, and fight differently, Bruce Lee's legacy is undeniable. His body may be gone, but his impact? It will last forever. Bruce Lee's legacy is as powerful today as it was when he first stepped onto the world stage. His influence on martial arts, cinema, and philosophy remains unmatched, inspiring generations to push their limits and embrace self-improvement. The renewed attention on his final resting place only proves one thing: his presence in the world has never faded. Whether through his films, his teachings, or the countless lives he touched, Bruce Lee's spirit continues to live on. But with the recent speculation surrounding his grave, new questions have emerged. Is there more to the story, or is this simply another reflection of his enduring impact? His life was filled with mystery, and even in death, the intrigue surrounding him remains. What do you think? Could there be deeper reasons behind this sudden focus on his resting place? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Bruce Lee's legacy, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more legendary stories. And don't forget to check out our next video. You won't want to miss it.